All right,
Just don't forget to turn it off.
all right.
Phone did ring. I didn't hear it,
Um,
but it did come through.
That was Jack, so Jack now has your phone number.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Okay. We have enough people here. Jack is an alternate. I'm going to ask if you can cover and make voting decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. If you'd like to come up closer, or I don't know how well these sound effects, and you can grab those chairs with the rollers if you want.
Okay, oh, I can stand.
Okay. So this is, we're reopening the application that came before us last month, which was C0324 on 2 Norwich Road, the Pink Lotus. And it's about signage for your shop. So, and I'm sorry I was not able to find, I'm not usually in the recording secretary's files, so I wasn't able to find the actual application.
Okay.
And Carl said he couldn't come, so. But we did discuss this last time. We had questions about, as I mentioned, where and what and how many signs. So you're actually talking to those people and to us. So whoever might happen to be watching
You'd
this.
probably be more comfortable just sitting
Yeah,
over
if you
here.
want to, yeah, okay. So we, doing recall from my brain, we do know were 2 different places for signage. One is a freestanding sign that's perpendicular to the road.
Correct.
And we wondered about the size of the lettering, if this logo is going to be, if it's going to take more than one space,
No, it will not take more than one space.
okay?
The sign, actually, we sent you,
I sent
you
you
guys have the dimensions and everything of the sign.
Okay, yep,
So there's an existing structure there.
right,
So it's basically probably taking less than 1/2 of that area.
okay.
So it's quite small, honestly.
There's only 2,
Okay, I'm not clear. You're talking about the existing sign that's in front of the window?
No,
No,
the
I'll-
freestanding sign
We're
that's
talking about
on
the
the
slat on
structure.
the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a picture of the
Okay.
actual thing if it makes it easier.
Because during the meeting, I was having difficulty recalling what the latest, sign configuration was on the property.
This is the existing sign that's out in
I
front.
understand that, but
Right.
then there was the dimensions of what appeared to be what's
We're gonna mount
old
on that.
sign, the old sign that was in front of the window. Is that from the previous, the bookstore?
That might be something the bookstore had, I'm not sure what that
Okay,
is.
so you were not talking about any sign in front of the window at all?
There will be a sign in the window.
Side.
It's,
Inside the window?
this,
Inside
this
the
is
building.
Okay.
actually the sign.
Okay, that's
Have
when,
another one just like it, it's a little bit bigger, which would probably be hanging by fishing string inside the glass.
okay, that's what confused me was where, what all the application, were we talking about the freestanding sign or were we talking about replacing?
We're talking about both.
In front of the
Talking about
window,
both.
okay.
Yes. Do
Okay.
you need that? Would you like that?
I understand, I understand
just
what
wanted
it
you to
is
know
now.
what-
Okay,
yeah, where
no,
it's going.
okay, no problem.
So can we let's discuss the outside freestanding sign first, and then we'll go to the glass.
Okay, in the application, it talked about, now that's a black sign, I believe it's with gold lettering
We're not touching anything that's there. This
Okay.
is something we have made to attach to it.
to attach to it. So the attachment, the attachment talked about being a white sign with black lettering.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that we're
now,
talking
would
about the
that
same
just be
thing.
text or would that logo be on it?
It would have the
That-
logo as well.
Yes.
Okay, the one thing that I noted, I mean, you can do whatever, in that space, it's, your sign, your space. You know, we do, you know, certainly permit logos because logos are what attract people visually. One thing from memory from that application was the ratio between the lettering and the logo. The logo was very large, and the logo seemed a bit the logo seemed large. The lettering seemed small underneath it, and then you described it as if I understand correctly, a 15 by 30 space. There'd be an awful lot of white space on either side in order to accommodate that logo and lettering. And then I just wanted to express the concern. Again, you can have whatever you want in this space.
Yep.
But the lettering's going to, if it's those dimensions,
You just don't want to get lost in the,
those letters, people are not going to see it when they drive by. They're not going to see it. I understand you're wanting the logo,
yep.
but the logo so overwhelmed the vertical space.
Yeah, I don't think it's as proportionally different as
Okay.
it seems. I think that's a little bit of an
Okay,
illusion.
on the sample that was given us, the proportions, the logo was quite large, the lettering relatively small. And it would end up, to get it into 15 by 30, you would have a lot of white space on either side, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the lettering would be so small that drive-bys, they're not going to see it. Just from our experience,
Yep,
you know. So from my point of view, your logo, you know, decent lettering, as I recall, it was very nice lettering. It looks great. I'm just concerned it would be really functional for you.
let's do this. If you guys are fine with the sign, we want to go forward with that. If we find that we don't like it, then we can come before you again and say, listen, we're gonna make an adjustment.
Yeah, and I'm just suggesting that even when you go to have it produced, if you find that ratio between the logo and the lettering is just too, the logo is too big, if you need to reduce the logo in order to make the lettering bigger,
Yep, that would be
I
acceptable.
certainly don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but understand by too
Want to
big.
we want to make it functional for you.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
want it-
But too big, the concern is the functionality. We're not sign, designers, but when we looked at it, we said, you're gonna drive right by this and never see, you might see the logo, you'll never see the text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's what you guys are gonna do, that's what you're gonna do, but that was just a bit of advice, and we couldn't really act on it because we were confused about the other sign.
Right, we weren't sure, we thought
We
the
weren't sure
placement
which
was
is
in
which
front
and
of
what's
the
going
window.
where and that sort of thing. So basically, I think the question is, nobody's disputing the sign. The only thing that's coming up from what we've lived through over the past,
I'm just
is it the
constructive
best functional
criticism,
solution
yeah.
for you? And that's your call.
Okay, well, appreciate that. Let's go to the window then. We have this is an actual sign. This is the exact color, exact everything, but we have one that's just a little bigger. It's probably like this. That's what we wanted to hang, just like this, on the inside of the glass.
Yeah, on the
And
inside.
I know you mentioned, the background is there enough to notice it. And I was just saying to my wife over there, really, if it became an issue or something, we could get a pizza box or something and or a piece of cardboard, cut it out, and she could
Yeah.
put a color behind it to make it more
Just so
noticeable.
it stand out
Yeah,
more.
and I think, if you, the sign that's going to be seen is the
The one out by the
freestanding
road.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
for drivers by.
Yes.
This just affirms what part of the building you're going to.
I
Right.
agree.
That's all it is. It's just,
So, I wouldn't expect the sign in the window to be
As bold or,
terribly readable from
Right,
the road.
right.
It's just not gonna happen.
yeah. Yeah. So that's all we have. That's what we want to do, just those.
so, and I think once we get this thing made, I guess, yeah, we can make an opinion if we think somebody's gonna see it or not.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commission, but non-lighted signs inside the window are not under our purview.
Pardon me?
Non-lighted signs that are inside the building, inside the window, are not in our purview. Lighted signs come under, lighted signs, neon signs are a problem. And that's actually,
Doing that. That's
But-
what I was
that's
Right.
not in our,
But
that's
it does-
actually not directly in our purview, but that is actually in the,
But it does raise the
Village
question, how are you going to
regs.
have lighting in the window for that sign?
We're not.
Okay.
I mean, if there's any lighting that's existing in there, that would be the
Yeah.
only lighting.
Yeah.
there.
And is there lighting for that?
Room lighting.
room light is,
Room light,
it's
it's
room
ambient-
light. Yeah,
ambient room light.
right, but we're not talking about a deliberate illuminated box sign, an illuminated neon sign.
No.
Those have regulations that are under, the village definition under planning and zoning, which we work with them, but that's technically not within.
Your
But
wheelhouse.
they
Because
they
it's in-
would defer
because
to
it's-
us.
Right,
for
they,
the-
they defer to us for an answer, but it's within, we're talking about something inside the window, you know.
Yeah.
And
That's
at the end of the day,
that's the
that's the
dividing
sign.
line for us.
Yeah,
That's it.
My
That-
question,
that's it.
It's just
That'd be-
bigger, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
my
that's,
question with that one is the same as with signage in general, which is, with that as a white, sign hanging in the window, are people
Would it get
going to be able to
lost?
see it?
Right, but
Yeah.
that's, like we said, we might end up putting a color behind it for it to, to show up, but it's,
Right.
But not,
And are you,
It's
the
not gonna be
sign
illuminated.
itself is not illuminated.
Right.
That's
are
really
you,
the
are you
dividing.
going to be using that window to display other things, or?
or the, some of the stuff that she's selling.
yeah, it will have a nice
You know,
display in there,
it-
and that will change from
Yeah.
time to time, you know what I mean, because it is a gift shop, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Jack, you've been quiet. Any questions?
No, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
Okay. Member of the public?
Thank you.
All right, I will make a motion to accept the application C0324 to Norwich Road for the Pink Lotus signage as applied for and as described at this meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion is second. Votes on that? Ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes.
Thank you.
We can, when I speak with our recording secretary, I'll make sure that they have a certificate of appropriateness sent to you.
Perfect.
So when do you hope to open?
I don't have a definite date at this time, but I'm planning at sometime in October.
Okay,
Or at least starts in September 1st, but
But I have to
But-
get in there and,
yeah, we gotta get in there and
Paint it
paint
and-
and
okay,
whatever.
but if you have the sign in before you open, that's so much the better, you know?
yes, yes.
Well, the only downside to that is if you put it up too soon, people wanna come in and you're not ready,
Yeah,
Right,
but
so.
we'll be working on it,
Well,
September
coming
1st.
soon banner, you know,
Yeah,
might be a,
Coming
might be a,
soon to it.
yes,
you know,
yes,
get people teased. It's a good thing.
right, right.
Well, now that I got the board here and I got your attention for a second, I guess I got a thought. How much foot traffic do you guys have by there? I know Goodspeed obviously attracts loads of people.
you're right next to the sweet shop, so.
Yeah,
Right,
I know it's not called the sweet shop anymore, but,
but yeah,
yeah,
you know, that in itself,
yeah, that will help.
I was just curious, cause you know,
on a nice day, they're gonna have a lot of foot traffic, and on weekends, you know,
I mean, we don't have any statistics on that kind of thing.
yeah, no,
but-
I just didn't know if you just
but-
knew from
but the-
experience.
The former sweet shop folks would probably be your best
Right,
gauge.
Yeah.
Yep,
And they're also putting the walkway on the bridge. I know the steam train's gonna do train runs where
Oh.
people will get off the train and walk over into
Really?
East
That's
Ave.
exciting.
Oh, that'd be good. Very
That's really
nice.
cool.
Yeah,
what other
Very
big
nice.
projects?
there, they
That's
got the,
enough.
they got the walkway partly done, don't they?
Yeah, the
It's
walkway's partly
On
done.
the fixed span,
Yeah.
it's ready. It looks great.
That's
I'm
exciting.
very excited about that.
That is exciting.
So,
very good.
All right, well, appreciate it.
Yes,
Thank
thank
guys.
you, thank you,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
thank you.
You guys have a great night.
You too.
Thanks, take care.
All right, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. You're next. And just for the record, I'm going to ask you to recite your name or spell it for me, and you're with Centerbrook Associates.
I am.
Yeah, you don't
Get comfortable?
understand.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna pull out some drawings. Now, this is just an informal meeting.
Yes, if you have drawings,
We like drawings.
I'm gonna pull them out,
okay.
put them on the easel. But just to introduce myself, I'm Agatha Madigan, and I'm with Centerbrook Architects. And I'm here to review the Goodspeed Opera House project.
Oh. Interesting. It's been a while since we've talked about that.
Many years, you're right. I reached out to Will and he recommended I come in and just present the project informally with the commission before we actually review next month. So
Absolutely.
we prepared some documentation here about the civil engineer.
If you would like to, at least for the moment, show it to the camera.
Okay, got it.
I mean, you don't have to keep it showing to the camera all the time, but
Just to share.
yeah. And this one is the
Civil,
site plan?
yes, the site
Okay.
plan. Then this is the actual floor plan and
Okay.
the opera house. So
All right,
review that.
okay, thank you.
Just to orient everyone, this here is the existing site plan.
Mhm.
And the opera house is right here. And this is the roadway coming over the bridge in this location.
Oh, you have the whole, okay, you have the
whole
parking lot
site
and everything,
the
okay.
parking lot as well.
Yep.
Yes. So this is showing the existing, the entire boundary of the property so that you can see. So what we are going to be doing as part of the project is renovating the parking lot. Yeah, feel free to come up and get closer
mind
if this is
me,
too
I'm
far. Yeah. We're going to be rehabilitating the parking lot and then renovating the entrance to the opera house. Here's our existing. So here's the border. Okay. So here is the newly renovated parking lot area. We are essentially grinding up the pavement that's there and just repaving it. We're going to be adding some islands throughout the parking. The gray area that you see here is currently grass, and that's our kind of overflow for parking. We are proposing to include new paved spots on that end, so there's about 15 spots.
So you'll expand the number of spots.
You know, based on the current code requirements for turning radiuses, sizes, the number of parking spaces actually decreases, even though the area, the footprint is
I was gonna
larger.
say that, I mean, it's like, right now
Yeah.
it's a free-for-all,
Yeah.
so you're putting some law and order into the.
Exactly. So right now, the existing is 162 spaces, and then we're going to have a total of 152. So if they lose a few.
And I have a notation
Yeah.
about the parking.
Yes.
That is not within the historic district.
Oh, good. Excellent.
It is
So-
within, as far as I know, it's within
Yeah.
the National Register Historic District.
Yeah.
It is not within the boundary of the local historic district.
Okay.
We do not have purview over
Okay.
that parking lot. I'm very happy to see the proposal.
But we can still give advice and thoughts.
If you have questions for us,
Good.
absolutely, we
Good
can,
to know.
but we
So
do
really the
not,
focus is
we
the
will not
opera
be
house
vote,
itself.
we won't be voting on
But
that.
we won't be voting on it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we have, we serve also as a consultative body,
Yeah.
Sounds good.
so.
Okay.
I'd have
There were,
some
when the,
thoughts.
when the,
I'd
when
have some
the
thoughts.
Actors Housing was built, there were parts that
They're
weren't
presenting.
within the district, and we saw the whole,
Yeah.
we saw the entire
Yes, yes.
proposal, so, including stuff up on Hem Street, so, you know.
Good. All right, so I'm gonna keep going and then jump in
Yep.
anytime. So that's the proposal for the parking area. We are gonna be, there's a couple of on the two sides of the footbridge, there's some issues with ponding of water, so we're just gonna repave both sides since we're repaving the parking lot. So that'll be the extent of the parking renovation. We're gonna have new light poles, new landscaping, and I'll show you on the next sheet what those look like.
Okay, and now when we get to the boundary, I do
Yes.
believe the
The-
boundary is
the-
the
the
center
stream.
line of Sucker Brook.
Yep,
So anything that's on the Opera House side of the brook,
Yes,
lighting,
yes,
paving, any modifications,
that's
that
where
we're,
we come into play.
that we're most definitely interested in.
Sure. So on this side of the brook, like I said, we're just paving.
Mhm.
It's already asphalt.
It's already
Just tearing
paved
it
and
up
you're just,
paving it.
so that's a repair.
and what is this dotted squared off section which seems to cut through the Gelston house?
It's the expanded view.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
Switch over to the expanded view, just it's a blow up of what you see here in front of the Opera House. Okay. So perhaps I should start with, everyone is familiar with the Opera House looks like today, right? The existing. So what we are proposing to do is the entry steps and that stoop. We are proposing to expand. It's going to be all new, so that we can bring the elevation of that top level, that top landing, and make it flush with the interior level. So you're
Okay.
just walking
Yep.
straight in.
Mhm.
And an introduction of an accessible ramp. So the ramp will be tied to the side, so when you get up to the top landing, now you can enter into the Opera House with any obstructions. We will have, or we're proposing to have new light posts. There are 2 lamp posts right now on this side of the entry, but we are introducing 2 more at the
The
ramp
same
location.
style,
Same style. We looked at the lamp posts that were recently installed by the Connecticut DOT.
Yep.
And we were going to look and consider those. They're actually high pressure sodium, and they don't meet the Connecticut building code, which requires a full cutoff light fixture. It has to do with how much of the light basically goes up into the sky.
right.
So there was some variance allowed for those, but we did find one that is similar looking, which I'll show you,
Mhm.
to
Are-
replace the lampposts. Yeah.
Are we talking about the black bell shape that really are Haddams? They're not East Haddams.
Yeah.
They're not approved for East Haddam. Those are Haddam's design. They're
East,
n-
East
I-
Haddam's ones are.
Yeah, we don't have that style over on this side, and
On
there
this side,
and there
yes.
would be a problem if the DOT starts installing that kind of style of lamppost.
Yeah, and I'll show you what they install
Okay.
similar
Okay.
to it. But in this is the ramp here, and then we're proposing some plantings, just some low shrubbery in the center there. But I'll keep going with more detail.
So what happens
I'm gonna get closer.
in intermission of all these people come out of this place? Are they in the street or where, I mean, how does that, it looks like you've got a smaller area now where people are gonna congregate.
Are you referring out to out
Yeah.
here?
Exactly.
There's only it only comes out just a couple more feet. It isn't that drastically different.
Okay.
And I'll show you in a section. I have in another drawing too. You'll see how much it comes out a little bit further.
And as far as the view, so you're coming over the bridge.
Yes.
And there's this, and maybe we'll see some of that.
You will. Yeah.
What are you seeing when you
When you're coming around the corner there.
going around
Yep.
the corner with that
Let me
new?
just settle down, and I'm gonna show you some of the architecturals. A little easier to see here. This is the existing. Here's that existing sign that you were referring to earlier. That's pretty large
Mhm.
there. That sign is coming out. We are also removing the doors here, the entry doors, making them wider. We're going to be replicating them so they look identical. We're also going to be removing and replacing this door here out of this egress stair to just flip the swing of it. So when you come up from the ramp, you don't crash into it. And as I mentioned earlier, the steps.
That's not used as an entry door anyway.
This is not, no.
Right.
There's no hardware on the outside, so you can't. So here's some pictures just to remind everyone what the front entrance looks like. Those are those existing doors.
Now, the doors, okay, and I understand, I mean, I'm very, very, very familiar with this building. The doors are currently split with a post,
Yes.
each bank,
Yep.
which obviously leaves each of the 4 doors too narrow to be handicap accessible. You're going to replace all 4 doors. They're going to be wider,
Yes,
and now we have the very lovely historic
yes,
transom
Yep.
with the lettering.
yes.
That's going to be all replicated in such a way that we're really not going to
Yes, so what we're planning to do is to maintain the existing
Yeah,
glass with the
Okay.
signage and just add glass to each side,
all right, all
just to
right,
make it wider.
okay,
So you don't lose that.
okay, got it.
But the doors will be
Good.
replicated, as you said, they're gonna be
Mhm.
larger because currently they're not ADA,
Mhm.
in terms of their width. That's what we'll see.
So there'll be, the actual doors themselves, brand new,
Brand new,
replicated to what's
to match.
been there,
Yes,
crash bars, the whole bit,
you got it.
totally handicap accessible, electric push
That's
buttons.
right, on one of the doors, yes.
Wonderful.
Yep, you got it. All right, and everything that we are
What is this
replacing. Yes.
lower,
This
yeah,
lower picture, it's right
behind
in this
Ah,
corner
okay.
here.
all right,
There's an existing concrete pad.
Right.
That you see right there, and then this lattice. Because the ramp is gonna be going in this location, we have to remove that concrete pad.
Ah.
And the pad actually goes underneath this lattice, so it's going to, we're gonna have to take that off, remove it, and just replace the lattice.
Yeah.
So that's why we're showing that. But the material is gonna be replaced in kind. The balustrade replaced in kind. We're gonna follow the same style, and profiles.
With what?
With wood, yes. So here is a larger view of that layout that we saw down there with the ramp coming up, and then the new step
Mhm.
layout.
So this is a modification of an earlier thing that was designed,
We had presented this, or we were looking to move forward with this project back in 2019.
Right.
Ed
And we
Blasek brought
reviewed
it
it.
to us, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we reviewed
So I
it
remember,
this-
the
yeah, a number of years ago.
exterior, this is the
Right.
exterior portion of what he presented.
Exactly, because Goodspeed also wanted to do some interior renovations, and we had
Yeah.
presented the whole project to the State Historic Preservation Office so that we can get approval, and they did give us approval for the entire project.
right,
But
okay.
right now, we're only moving forward with the front entry renovation. So again, just to share some images of materials, so we all know what is gonna be put back in. We're gonna use the same type of bluestone for the treads. The existing light fixture looks like this.
Mhm.
And this is one that we found that is very similar looking to
Ah.
that.
Excellent.
It does not meet the full cutoff requirement that the state building code requires us, but we're gonna try to get a variance so that it matches.
My understanding with historic commissions is that, variances are much easier to come by. Like, if you're putting a new railing on a porch, you can have it lower than code if you're in a historic district.
Well, that's good to know. We did make some provisions to accommodate the current code requirements. And I'll show you, we've introduced very thin brass rails so that they kind of disappear and you only see the historic balustrade that's there
Mhm.
today.
Okay.
In the front steps, right now there is no lighting, but we're going to be introducing some
Oh,
recessed
okay.
lights
Mhm.
on every other riser. There's gonna be a couple of them on each one of those steps. We will have a new billboard sign. New billboard sign is actually gonna go on this back wall here, and I'll show you some more images.
Okay.
So it's gonna be on that back wall right there on the building. And we are going to be mounting this light fixture. It's just a linear fixture that's gonna throw some light on the back side of the ramp, so it'll illuminate
So-
the wall. But yeah, it'll be down low on the ramp, and it's gonna illuminate
Oh, okay.
the billboard from the bottom
So we
up.
won't see the fixture, you're just
You won't
gonna
see the
illuminate,
fixture.
you're gonna wash the marquee.
You got it.
Okay.
The balustrade, again, we're gonna be matching because we're gonna carry a balustrade along this outside face,
Mhm.
so we're gonna match that same.
So that's what you're gonna see,
Yes,
that's what you're gonna see when you come around that.
you got it. And I'll show you.
The lighting, it seems like anytime a modern light is coming into play, even if it's a reproduction, it seems like it's 2-3 times brighter than.
Well, the color of the lamps that they used in the old-looking fixtures, they used a daylight fixture, which is pure white daylight. They need to be warm. That's the real problem there. I understand you need to light the area,
Right.
but we don't need to have that glary, bright
Glary,
daylight,
cold,
pure
white.
cold white. We need warm lighting fixtures. And I understand that, the recent evolution of lighting, we went from incandescent to really awful fluorescent replacements to ones that finally kind of looked really decent. And then we jumped into LED that looked really awful. But now we have, the common technology that You can get very, very nice, warm lighting, bright, and you'd never know that it wasn't incandescent. And that's what we really need here, because those lamps, they would have given off almost an orange color historically, being gaslit.
Yeah, good point, we can adjust that.
Okay.
So those are the lights, we're going to be matching the handrails and the posts. Again, this feature here, we're gonna be matching. Doors are gonna be replicated in kind. The lights are going to remain the pendant lights on the porch, those are gonna stay, as existing. The new billboard, which is gonna go on on the wall here, on the building, we're matching, trim around the billboards and trim around the windows. Of the existing.
The marquee, you know, I mean, that's a pretty big sign. And is it gonna be a 3-panel marquee?
Two. And I'll show you
2-panel
another
marquee?
image.
Okay, so it will be the equivalent of 2 of the 3 in size.
Got it.
Okay, because I'm thinking, man, you're gonna squish those 3
Yeah.
onto that wall and it's gonna be hard to see. Okay, so only 2 panels,
Yes.
okay, great.
We have brick along this edge here, which you'll see in the next picture, and we're just matching the white brick that's already there. And we already talked about the bluestone. And on the side of the steps right here, you see it's rubbed concrete, and on those risers, sort of matching that as well.
So the surface of the ramp itself will be bluestone?
Bluestone.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So here are a couple of images. So here
Oh.
you can see that balustrade. That's what you'll see when you're coming from the road. I'll probably revise this so I can raise this view, but here are the 2 billboards that are on the building. And that light fixture is just behind the ramp down low, you'll never see it.
Good.
And it just
Creative.
shoots the light up. Here are the 2 new lamp posts here, there'll be some plantings. The ornate balustrade is just gonna be on the outside of the ramp. On the internal part, it's just that very thin rail that's already there, similar to it, so you can see here. Here are the light fixtures that are in those risers. The other step. Now what we're showing here, brick down here, yes. Yep.
I do have a comment. You just mentioned the step lighting.
Yes.
I know that has traditionally never been any lighting on the step level. The Goodspeed introduced some strip lighting under the doors.
They do, yes.
I understand the necessity and I understand the purpose and all that. The thing is, they really don't look good when you're coming around the corner.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I understand the necessity of having all sorts of step lighting.
Sure.
But I think there needs to be attention paid to mitigating what is seen beyond, beyond the edge of the road.
Right.
Because it really looks awful when you
Yes.
drive, when it's lit and you're driving around and you're seeing that. That's the first, that's where the attention goes rather than the beauty of the building itself.
I don't know if everyone else is familiar with it, but they did add along here.
Yes.
They added an LED strip.
Yes, that's
because
what
you
I'm talking
step
about.
down,
Yep.
And so it's like falling apart, it's like
Yes.
hanging down, it just doesn't look good.
I mean, have the lighting, but it needs to be,
Yeah.
it
But
needs to
these-
be masked.
We will remove those because there will no longer be a step, that little LED strip, so that's gonna be
Okay.
gone.
Yep.
The only lights that we're gonna have are in the risers, and they're going to be fixed. They're gonna be recessed, they're gonna be flush with the risers. You won't see them light thrown
Down. Yeah,
Exactly.
they really shouldn't go in, I
That's
mean,
right.
much beyond the edge of the final step. The
Exactly.
lighting really shouldn't go beyond that.
I'm a little confused about one thing about that lighting. On the previous drawing, you were showing small little insert lighting, and this is sort of showing the entire expanse.
It's just indicating that that's where it's going, if that's what you're referring to, the rectangle. Yeah, it's just showing where it's going.
They're
This is
fully
the actual-
recessed
they're fully
flush.
recessed.
They're fully recessed.
Yeah.
I'm
This is
sorry.
the actual.
That is the light, and
Yeah,
I just noticed,
yeah.
that's here and here and here.
You
It's
got
not
it.
the whole.
No, it's just those little bits.
Got it,
My,
got it.
my main concern in that image there
Yeah.
is that this is brick rather than granite, because if you look at the foundation of the Goodspeed and, the main building where there's a foundation is granite. And then the only brick foundation is the piers to that what is the old post office wing, which is that little area.
The faux old,
Yeah,
old.
so
And,
those are,
and the bump out for the elevator.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. Those are add-on elements.
Yeah,
This is a lot of exposed stone, whatever it
it's
is.
the main facade.
yeah.
I'm hearing what you're saying,
Yeah.
where maybe it should be granite.
The reason why we chose brick here and we're painting it white, and all of the balustrades will be painted white, because we do want it to disappear. We don't wanna take away from the main entry steps, which are the granite. You are right, there is existing stone on that side of the steps and the stoop, but not on this side. It's still that rubbed concrete, which is interesting. In any case, our thought was if we painted the brick white, we painted the balustrade white just to match the existing, it kind of disappears. And your focal point is still the steps, the front door, the opera house as we know it today. And let this be a little bit more kind of a secondary entrance.
My thought, this is just how I think of things, is if it's gonna be there, it's not really going to, it's a very ornate, which I like, is that it's an ornate railing. And if I were to go about it, I would try to make it look as if it was always there. So it doesn't look out of place, doesn't look like an addition with separate brick. It looks granite like the rest of the building.
Yeah, and we'd have to look at the extent of the stone that you're referring to. But yes, there is brick. This is all white, it's kind of muted, and it doesn't really pop out at you. But we'll take a look at the other elevations just to see the extent of the stone. Because on the river side, there is stone on that foundation
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think
So
it's,
we'll take a look at
It's
it.
interesting that those steps are finished differently on each end.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember when there was a huge shrub
yeah,
there at the end, and at the end of the porch,
Yeah.
the landing, was a phone booth
Mm.
back in the day, where the ramp is going to come in. The post was actually outside
I see.
the railing, came up, and then one of those modern aluminum boxes facing into that was apparently original to the renovations in I can tell you it was there in the mid-70s when when I worked there.
a county renovation.
So I know, like I said, I know this building inside and out.
And just from a period perspective, when it was either an addition or more of a tack on, like a deck, porch, or in the example, the post office bump out, it would be brick. And if it was a more permanent thing, like a structure or staircase, it would be stone. And if you look around the village, that continues throughout the buildings, usually.
Let's take a look at that. More images here. Here's what you see currently today, that's an existing view, and then this is what you'll see with the renovation, and those are the two billboards on that.
So the marquee, if I'm reading it correctly, we're down to 2, but we're also going shorter than what's
They are,
currently there
they are.
because of the height that's
Because of the height,
available.
exactly.
Okay, wow.
The other thing is, this is showing a lot of, when we were talking about that brick.
Yeah.
Now this is showing plantings.
This one, actually have to remove the plantings, because they're not gonna be there.
They're
We
not
were
gonna be-
originally
okay.
considering them, but they're not gonna be there.
And
It's all gonna be paved to get access to
will,
the-
when you paint the brick white, will it fail? Because usually when brick's painted, it tends to have a moisture issue.
It will not fail, yeah, we're
Okay.
going to detail it properly so the water does leave the core of the wall construction and it doesn't push the paint through, so it'll be detailed properly to allow for the water to come through it.
But I think without the plantings, it brings up the problem as discussed here about the stone versus the brick. Because now the brick is yeah, so I think without the
Yeah.
plantings, the brick question becomes much more.
And I also think, if it almost looks like a terrace to me, rather than a structure. And if you look at the terraces around the town, we're kind of known for our granite and stone terraces. We don't really have any brick walls that are retaining walls. I mean.
Good point.
Oh, that's a good point.
Very good
because
point.
It doesn't appear as a brick wall.
Yeah.
In fact.
These are the other elevations that I wanted to share. This is just straight on of the existing, and then here's the new straight on. And from the side view.
What happens with that door?
Which one here?
Yeah.
It stays. We're just flipping the swing bit. So when you come up,
What is it? So right now it's what? It's a solid door? I can't.
it's a solid door.
Yeah,
It's a
there's solid door, there's no hardware. They're
Yeah.
painted white, they blend right in.
Where does the one on the left go?
The one here?
Yeah.
Again, it just swings open and people just go down the steps.
Okay.
Yeah. Same with this side.
Yeah,
just go
those
down
are,
the
those are the, what people don't understand is those are two concrete block fire exits that are built into the historic structure.
steps. That's right.
That's what makes the building safe.
Those stairs.
And that's the egress, if you keep going down either side of those back stairs from the theater, there's no hardware on the outside, you cannot open it from the outside. They are trimmed, there's, thick trim around it, but it's all painted white and the panel is just blank white. And so flipping the door from the outside, we're never really gonna realize that.
Yeah.
No, the only difference is that now it's gonna be routinely utilized.
No,
Same-
because it's
same
still
use.
only a fire exit.
Yeah, same use.
Oh, so that's not going to.
That's not the,
Oh,
that's
it's
not
not
the,
for it's not
that's
for-
not, no, the
Oh, I thought you
ADA,
were relying on that, so
No.
you're gonna rely on the expanded double doors.
no,
Yes,
it's, no.
Expanded double doors,
Yes.
that's where everyone's gonna be coming and going through.
Yeah, the exit door, and they're flipping it so that in the event of an emergency,
It's still
you're
be
gonna
used.
send, you're gonna send people down the ramp
So
No, I get
first.
that.
when the door
Yeah.
swings open, you can head
I
down.
assume since you were putting a ramp there, you were gonna now utilize that door a little more
No.
routinely.
No, it can't be, because the only thing it goes to is the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
It does not go into the lobby.
Right, okay.
You have to go up a full flight
Okay.
to the top of the grand staircase
Got it.
before there's a door.
And on the subject of doors, my main concern with this is the expanded doors. Not that I'm against it, there's just, so those doors are the last original extra doors in the building. 'Cause my understanding is that, here,
They're
I
not,
pulled up a photo.
they're not original.
You sure? 'Cause
Those are part of the 63 renovation.
what I've been told is that
They were,
they were these two doors,
it's
and
it's,
then they moved them.
functionally, those are not those doors, those are modern doors
Okay.
that were made to look like that. In fact, they're probably slightly wider than what's there.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're just going a little bit more, a little wider still to make them fully handicap accessible.
Okay.
Yeah, those are definitely
The
1963.
wider ADA, might they still have the post?
Hey,
The double doors will still have the post?
they still work the most, yes.
Oh, there will be a divider between the
Yes.
each,
Yes.
oh,
One thought I'll just give is, it's not related to design.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice if the doors were saved and like maybe donated to the historical society, because that would go well in the
Absolutely.
big hall exhibit room in there. You could have the Goodspeed Opera House doors, and that way
Yeah.
they wouldn't go to waste.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any of the historic features that the Goodspeed wants to keep and try to reutilize or at least
Display, yeah.
display them, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. So going back to the parking lot, should I be including any of those documents in the actual submission when I send those?
it's up to you, it's up to you.
If
We
you
won't be
put
voting.
everything together, then we have a comprehensive
Okay.
thing.
Okay, so I'll include that.
Our records for Actors Housing, which is at President,
Yeah,
has the whole 9 yards in there,
okay,
including pieces that are not in the district.
okay, sounds good. That's good. And I mentioned earlier that this is the light fixture that we're proposing, or the
Mhm.
lamp post that we're proposing. And if for whatever reason we can't get that variance, we're proposing a light
Oh.
fixture like this.
That would be
Yeah.
very disappointing.
I know.
As
Our
would,
preference is this.
as would the bell,
Yeah.
as would the bell.
This bell is what's proposed for the parking lot.
That was my next question.
Okay.
So that's the parking lot.
Okay.
That's the parking lot, that's
okay.
true, yes. And the intent is to have a single pole with 2 bells.
Okay, all
And
right.
the engineers are still working on the layout for that, but that's for the.
On the other side of the brook, I'm
Yeah.
real good with that.
And that makes more sense in terms of exiting at night,
Yeah. but
because the light is all facing down to the,
We are
ground.
gonna be.
Everything, it would be my preference, that everything on the Opera House proper
Yes.
side of Sucker Brook have the Victorian lighting.
Same.
That there's no
Yeah.
mix and match until you get over the
Agreed,
brook.
agreed. So we have to submit that variance to the state
Okay.
and get that
So
approved.
that's the variance to the
Yeah.
state.
Yes,
Because the other one isn't even Victorian, that's like
Yes.
colonial aesthetic.
right.
That's, oh,
And,
God.
and we don't wanna use this one,
Yeah.
it's just that we are putting it in our package
Yeah.
to actually describe to the state that this is what the historic district utilizes throughout, and this is what we wanna match, this is what's approved. They made a variance for the fixtures that were installed by the Connecticut DOT on the main road, so they're probably gonna allow the variance for
Okay.
this, that's my hope. Anyhow, so, yeah, that's the extent
Okay.
of the documents and the
Okay.
design here. But I will take a look at like we talked about, the brick versus the stone around the perimeter. Now, we did present this to the State Historic Preservation Office and they approved all of the materials, so I just need to go back and see what that process would be if we were to change anything. That's another thing too. But I'll follow up with.
And I had one thought on the parking lot, it's
Yeah.
obviously not purview, but
Yeah.
have you considered perforated asphalt or concrete for it instead of a impermeable surface? With these increased rains, it would decrease a lot of the runoff and a lot of the puddling and flooding in that part. Same with the walkways that are, you said the issue why you have to replace the asphalt on those walkways is because they're puddling. If it was a switch to a perforated asphalt to it, the water would go down and it would decrease runoff into the river and into
We
the
did,
brook.
we did consider it, and we actually have introduced a permeable paver strip here in the center, which will capture a lot of the runoff. And then we do have a strip all along the edge here. So we're capturing the water in those 2 locations and actually reducing the runoff going into the river.
It's
and
an
then,
interesting.
that's a question that may come up with both planning and zoning and inland
Yeah.
wetlands.
And speaking of inland wetlands,
Yeah.
I mean, the Actor Housing Project,
Yes.
Right,
the Actor Housing Project was done with all permeable pavement.
right.
So I know from discussing this with Ed Blaszek, that they have to use a special kind of plow blade on that. It's like, I guess it's like a rubber plow blade in order not to ruin it. But they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, because they're already there, that maybe, that they're already one step into it, they've got the equipment to clear it, that a fully permeable might be something worth considering.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
Particular, I mean,
There's that permeable strip, those-
And that is, I mean, the parking is, I assume, is fully within wetlands. You're probably going there.
Oh, yeah, we are.
You're,
We
you're,
definitely are.
yeah, no, I mean, going there with
What's underneath that? Just what?
permeable.
Pavers?
Yes.
What's underneath that?
Permeable pavers, so here's a section through it. We've got the brick pavers on top, and we've got crushed stone, and then more stone and a perforated pipe, that under drain pipe, that takes all that water and redirects it.
There is a pipe.
Will you be planting any trees? Because that's kind of a pretty barren, hot area.
Yes, we do have a lot of plantings.
Because I go on walks every single day and I say, that section along the road there, along, what's it? The road called?
Lumberyard?
Lumberyard Road.
Yeah.
Some trees, like, I know they don't come immediately, but if some maples or something are planted along the road.
So we have a number of plantings that we're proposing. So in each of these islands, see that here? Along here, along there, so it's a mix of trees, low shrubbery and plantings that are like bushes. So it's gonna be pretty ornate compared to what you see there today. It's pretty barren right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nothing invasive, right?
No, it's all things that are local.
Nothing Bartlett pears.
Barberry.
Not Bartlett pear, what do they call those
Burning
awful,
bush?
those awful pear trees that are so invasive?
Yeah.
Not Bartlett, I'm thinking the pear itself.
So with the submission, I'll package all of the drawings that I shared today. I have the application that I filled out, and I have a memo that accompanies in terms of the civil and how they're planning to address the drainage from the parking lot. I'll just include that in there because we did submit for P and Z and the wetland.
Just from the distance here and, you know, and following what he was saying, one more island along Lumberyard Road at the end, yes. Another one of those at the end would be, I would think would be very favorable.
With some trees.
Yeah.
To shade in the road.
Yep.
Right now, there is a removable guardrail section
Uh-huh.
in the parking area that Goodspeed wants to maintain. In the event that there is an accident or an issue and folks can't exit the parking from this area, there's a section of that guardrail that gets removed and then traffic can flow
Okay,
out of there.
but I'm not, where, can it be like even off of where the parking is?
I had a different question,
Yeah.
so it pertains to, so whose is that, where is,
Yeah.
what's this?
It's all of Goodspeed's, and they still use it as overflow parking, and they park on the grass.
Okay.
So twofold, one is the removable guardrail, but then also they want this section to stay open so
That
that
stays
cars
open.
can come in and out,
That stays open.
because this they do use as overflow
Yeah.
parking.
But to consider some more buffer
Along that
trees
edge,
along,
yeah. Yes, I see what
along
you're
that
saying.
whole strip.
Yes.
And I noticed islands here, like a
Yeah.
tree there,
Mhm.
that's all you need, one tree, one tree, one tree.
And then,
Shade along
but
the
come
road,
on,
yeah.
but continue over on,
Continue on this,
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and yeah, I mean.
2 or 3
continue
over
on.
there would be,
Because it's just so barren right now.
Phenomenal.
When you look at
Yeah.
old photo, like this tree died,
Yeah,
if you look at old photos of what it used to be, there's a lot more tree cover there.
yeah.
Through all the village, we've lost a lot of our tree cover and it's not getting replanted.
well, this plan is certainly a serious step ahead. The parking lot has always been very unattractive.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for a parking lot. A parking lot can be attractive.
Now, are there thoughts of using the parking lot like they did during the end of COVID, where they had a tent on the riverside?
You know, I'm not sure, I haven't had discussions with them on
Mhm.
that. I imagine once it's all planted with the islands, they're gonna be limited with the area they can actually put a tent up.
Mhm.
If anything, they would probably put it in the grass area,
Uh-huh.
But that's probably the location, yeah.
Looks like it's, the parking lot itself is pretty filled in.
Yep.
And
Right.
what are your names again? Sorry.
Steve Rose.
Jack.
David?
Cool, pretty.
Yep, okay, great. Thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just let this, and we'll see you again next month.
No, it's an exciting project. I don't think any alarm bells are going off, but, you know, but the questions that came up, this is what the value of having an informal
That's right.
and be able to have the time to think through some issues that we may bring up and process them into the application.
Just little
Always helpful, always helpful.
Little,
Yeah,
little things make a big difference.
Yes, yes,
absolutely.
Sensitivity makes a big difference, so we thank you for the sensitivity.
right.
Very good.
Well, that's exciting. I mean, when was it? It
Pardon me?
was in 2000
Right.
that Ed came before us with, so
Yeah.
it's been
And then he said he
nearly
would,
4 years.
right,
It was
and
in
he said,
fall.
we're not gonna discuss this, but here. I would like to, I have some dogs that I have to, excuse me, I have some canines that I have to attend to, and I would like to sort of
Okay,
table the remainder of the meeting to
Okay.
next meeting.
all right. I don't have a
Sounds like
problem.
a plan.
I don't have a problem. You don't want
Also,
to?
we don't have a recording
Good,
secretary.
well, I make a
All right,
motion to
Could I,
adjourn.
could I get 2 quick questions in?
Yeah,
The mill, when
The mill, now that everybody is back, I know that Jim Ventris would like very much to arrange for us to do something over there, to look at it.
Okay.
The owner is invested in wanting people to see it. You know, probably to do a sales pitch to say how bad it is, but
Yeah,
if they're invested for people to see it, I think we should do that. So I can, Jim, this week, to ask him what, and what's your other question?
the getting Jim to go to the Champion House and all the other properties that have done things.
I can bring that up. He was away at the same, most of the time from our last meeting until just this week, so.
Okay,
I had a chance to actually physically talk to him just before this meeting, and we didn't get to talk about much of anything except things that weren't related to town, well, related to town, but more Sportsman's Club stuff. Because the Sportsman's Club is having their autumn forest, fish and farm game dinner in September, so we had to talk about that. Okay,
Take a motion to adjourn.
okay, second?
Second.
Ayes?
aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, so we're not doing the minutes, holding those till next, do you want to collect the minutes for redistribution next month?
And I'm gonna,
Okay.
now that the meeting's adjourned, I'm gonna do what I can to
Turn the thing off. Good luck.